Welcome to episode 4 of On the Mark with Arpit. We didn't wait 15 days to record our next podcast. We were quicker this time. Match Day 28 just ended on the weekend. Mark was a little busy on Monday, so here we are on a Tuesday. Happy Holi, Mark, first up.
Happy Holi, yes.
Yeah. Obviously, both of us are so enthusiastic about the festival that we're sitting here recording a football podcast. But let's talk about what happened on the weekend. And we'll start with your club, Liverpool. Good goals, good number of goals to score against in-form West Ham side.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best performance again. I said after the last performance that they needed to put a good 90 minutes. And now 5-2 looks great result. It looks as though it was dominating. And they did to a certain extent. But, West Ham scored 2 goals against Liverpool. And that's not ideal. Defensively, we need to be a lot more solid. But going forward, score 5 goals, brilliant. Although 3 of them were deflections, weren't they, of some sort. So they rode the luck a little bit. They got the result. And they can build on that now.
Obviously we don't have multi-million views or something on the videos we make, Mark, but I feel like Arne Slot probably watched our previous video. Joe Gomez starting in that right back position and Szoboszlai pushed up in midfield. And again, it's not rocket science. Liverpool just look so much better with Szoboszlai up there in the midfield.
Yeah, because he's got everything. He's got a good engine. He sees a pass. He's got a goal in him. He's got a good shot on him. And he's like the engine room, isn't he, for Liverpool? You don't want to be putting him on as a right back or whatever. And do you know the fact that he don't play at right back? It tells you what sort of a guy he is. He's a team player. He's happy to do that. Whereas, if you were to say to a Bruno Fernandes, you go and play right back, I think there might be a little bit of a strop on there. But they've got to get through this. They cannot go for the championship in terms of winning it with the severe lack of players in different positions. I criticised Trent Arnold, but at least he played in that right back position and made it his own. We don't have, Joe Gomez isn't a right back either, but he's a good solid defender when he's fit.
Yeah, but he did he did pretty well in that position, and I think he's done that in the past also when Liverpool obviously won't be the best that you have in that position, but you'd rather have him over Szoboszlai and even Curtis Jones.
Oh, absolutely. I'd rather have you. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think
they're not defenders, are they? They don't have a defender's mindset. At least Joe Gomez does. He's played centre half, right back, and I've been a centre half and I've played at right back, and it's a hard position to play in because you've got to back the play up. You've got to be up and down. You've still got to do your defending as well. So Liverpool, if for next season, they need to go out and get a really top-class right back.
They definitely know that whole left. They went out, they got Frimpong, but obviously injuries and the fact that maybe he didn't do as well as he did at Bayer Leverkusen is affecting them. So maybe another right back option is to be considered for them. What did you make of Salah's performance in this one as well?
Well, it's just like his whole season, really. It's been underwhelming, hasn't it? I could understand if he was at loggerheads with the club over a contract and a contract extension. He's had that. Now, he's got to... Listen, I always say to you all the time that footballers are depreciating assets all of the time, each year. And Liverpool have gone out on a limb to give him that much money per week, because he is a depreciating asset, and we can see that this year. This is why I said to you at the start of this season, get rid of him, get rid of Van Dijk, and get rid of Trent, and get enough money in to cover them. Yeah. You're never going to cover them because the world-class players, or have been world-class players. But I think Salah's scored only 4 goals or something this season, and he looks a bit player, doesn't he? He just looks like, I don't know. And the only and do you know what the hardest thing for me to swallow is? I think he got brought off in the last game, and he was laughing as if like, why are you bringing me off, sort of thing, when he should have been brought off a lot earlier than he did. So I think Slot is going to have a lot of issues. I think the hardest thing in the world, mate, is to harness 25 multimillionaires it's a hard ask, and you've always got somebody who's not happy, and we've seen that with Man United to a certain extent over the years. At least Carrick has got them into a team and a group together. So I think, we'll see the likes of Salah going in the summer, and maybe Van Dijk, and we'll see a whole different setup for Liverpool.
Just based on what you've seen of Mohamed Salah, and listen, I'm completely on the side of maybe form has deserted him, and the talent is still there. You know me, I'm always on the side of the football, and I hope things come back for the player like in their prime. But just based on what you've seen of Mohamed Salah, not his stature at the club, would you be okay with Arne Slot maybe not starting him in one of the next few games?
Absolutely, yeah. But Slot will be thinking, because he's under pressure as well, Slot, why do I need to get another load of hassle by leaving Salah out? So he's probably just gone with the status quo and said, listen, he's better in the team. For me, personally, as the manager, that I don't want to get all the flack for leaving Salah out, because you've seen his reaction to getting subbed. Now, what's his reaction going to be like to not even start? And I've seen it. I think Klopp did it. Yeah, but I think Klopp did it a couple of times, and he was on the bench and he looked so disinterested. Now, when you're a substitute, you're still a player. You've got to be ready to go on, and if you've got a mind to, we've seen it with Curtis Jones last week, where he was on the bench, and then Verts got injured, and he came on at the last minute, and his head wasn't there, and it showed. I don't know what it is with Salah. Maybe it is just a lack of form, but we've got to give him the chance, because he's done so much and so well. But at some point, we're all pieces of meat at the end of the day, and we have our sell-by dates and whatnot, and he's no different. And Liverpool are bigger than any player, and they'll move him on.
I'm just going to add on that note, because you said the perfect line that Liverpool are bigger than any player. And, just to talk about sometimes the hypocrisy of fans, when Ronaldo was at Manchester United and the whole problem with Erik ten Hag was going, and I know a lot of Liverpool fans who went like, listen, man, and Manchester United fans, to be fair, that, no player is bigger than the club. And, they used all those words for a man who's arguably one of the best that football has ever seen. And in this scenario, I've had Liverpool fans say, hey, look at what Salah has given this club. And, he's so big. He's been our legend. And I'm saying, but wait, weren't you the guys saying that no player is bigger than the club? And your focus should be the club. If the player is not performing right now, irrespective of his stature, if you could say that about Cristiano Ronaldo, who I think in terms of stature, in terms of what he's done in football, is way beyond Mohamed Salah. I'm surprised, like I said, fans, when they look at it at their club, sometimes have their blinders on. So you saying that line, actually, before my question, is testament to how you think, which is so clear and so neutral.
But there's a saying, isn't there? The king's dead, long live the king. Now, the king will move on, and someone else will become the king, if you like, and that's always happened in football, and it'll happen again and again and again and again. You're not telling me that Man United supporters would have Ronaldo back right now at 42 because he did great when he was 28. So at some point, you've got to let go. You've got to say, brilliant, all the records are there.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. You've been amazing, but see you later. And it's happened to us all. It's happened to me on so many occasions.
I felt like a little bit of our own sentences coming out there.
But not nearly as high as these guys have played. But it happens right the way down the pyramid. And, it'll happen to them. And they need to know when it happens. They'll know when the time's right, because their body will tell them. So let's see.
Okay. Anything else about that Liverpool game that you want to talk about?
No, I just think it was a good game. It was a good scoreline for them. They scored 5 goals in terms of they've been creating a lot of chances and not really putting them away. So, albeit 3 of them were, as I say, deflections and whatnot. But yeah, it was a good performance from a team that were fighting for their lives. Who it could have been a little bit different if they'd scored and put the chances away when they did. The goal with Souček scored right after half time. It galvanized Liverpool a little bit, and they because we've seen them being pegged back a lot over the last few months. But no, it was a good performance, good result. But it didn't put them anywhere higher in the table, did it? So we'll talk about your lot now.
That's because Manchester United keep doing. Also, credit to West Ham, because they didn't play really bad. They definitely didn't play as bad as the scoreline makes it look. If you look at the scoreline and say 5-2, oh well, Liverpool smashed them all over the place. They didn't. West Ham were in that game, and one of those statistics with the modern statistics, the XG, which we'd like to dive into sometimes, that's pretty much equal for West Ham and Liverpool. So unfortunately for them, like Liverpool put away the chances that they created, especially from the corners. We'll come to the corners a little later on because we'll talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about Manchester United. I know 4 minutes into the match, you sent me a message. Do you want to tell people what was the message you sent?
Well, bearing in mind the way the supporters are these days, Carrick out,
Yeah, 4 minutes. I'm looking at the message and thinking, what? Yeah.
But do you know what? I've been looking online and stuff, and they're just desperately trying to get at Carrick. They can't now because he's unbeaten in 10.
Unbeaten.
Now they've put that against Solskjaer. He was unbeaten in 10. Another manager was unbeaten in 10, and then the 11th game, it went downhill. So they're just waiting. The press are waiting.
Yeah.
Man United weren't great on the day. The first half display was sluggish. It was laborious. It was all of them words that, and then they got a little bit of luck, didn't they? Lacroix got sent off, and then the penalty. And do you know what? I was so glad for Sesko as well to get the header, and because whilst you're a centre forward like that in a team that's not creating many, and it's very, very sluggish and slow, and it's such a tough place to be up front. And he probably had 2 or 3 chances, and he put the header away. And long may that continue for him. I didn't realise that he's still only 22, is he?
22 years old. Yeah, he's a young boy.
At Manchester United, the biggest club on earth, and he's had his little ups and downs early on, but he seems to be, finding his own way there. And if you look at other players around him, they don't despair with him. Yeah. Whereas other players, the likes of Fernandes, have despaired, throwing his arms around and all the rest of it. So if they're not doing that, they'll see something in him, both in training and in the games, and they'll nurture that talent along.
Yeah, but talk about Bruno Fernandes. First up, it is so refreshing as a Manchester United fan to watch Bruno up front, pinging those crosses in, because we've been missing that. We've not been seeing that, primarily because Bruno's been so far back. By the time he comes ahead, he doesn't have that chance. He doesn't have the space. In this match, so many times, whenever he got the ball, he just looked up, tried to cross the ball. He found Sesko a couple of times. Obviously, not the third, but one of those times was the goal. But Bruno Fernandes, Mark, I know, you speak about that aspect of him that he complains a lot, which is something I can't really defend, deny, or argue. But Bruno Fernandes is the most important player that Manchester United have, apart from the crosses. And there's this video on the internet where after he crosses the ball, right, he goes to each player and celebrates with each player and comes to Benjamin Sesko right at the end, hugs him, and then pushes him away and says, go celebrate some more. And that man, Bruno Fernandes, plays for the team. And what you said, that maybe he would moan about playing in the right back position, he might, but I think for the team he would play in that position. He's that kind of guy who would give everything for the team.
And if I've read rightly, he's rejected a £200 million move or whatever to whatever, I think it's the Middle East, to stay at Manchester United. And I think Casemiro was saying, I want to finish the job with Man United. So they seem to have got this camaraderie. Listen, Fernandes wasn't doing this 3 months ago, mate. You know what I mean? So
well,
now he's no, I know not about the where his position was, because everyone and his dog knows that. Give him a free role, then he's a very good player.
Much better player, yeah.
But when you said about him shaking everyone's hand, that wasn't happening 3 months ago, because there was different criteria at the club. The club seemed to be on its arse, really, didn't it? In terms of any sort of confidence, any sort of camaraderie. But Carrick seems to have engendered that into them, and And obviously with results comes confidence and team spirit and everything else. So yeah, long may that continue, because I didn't realise, I seen they were third in the league now. So the UCL needs a Man United in the Champions League. They do. They need a Liverpool. Hopefully Liverpool will get in the 4th or 5th place. It's great to see, and we're just, everybody's waiting for them to slip up, aren't they, Man United, and to see how they. Now, I'm so happy that Carrick is proven everybody wrong. I mean, they're all saying about him not getting the job at the end of the season. That's another thing. But what he's done right now, it's better than anybody that's ever been or not ever been at the club. But I've been at the club in recent times anyway.
Yeah. So good times, and it's a testament to the way United are playing. I know the first half was not that good, that even though it wasn't the greatest performance, they somehow managed to get 20 shots off and score 2-1, of course, a penalty. And the second header was just brilliant. It's one of those moves that, honestly, again, I go back to the early 2000s where we saw a lot more of that, where you probably saw a Didier Drogba, a Crespo, Tevez, these guys just boom. Ronaldo, obviously.
Go back again to 1970s. You've got Cyril Regis and all like that. You've got, because what they used to do is put it in the box, and with the advent of Pep Guardiola and Arsenal, they never used to put it in the box. It used to be the perfect goal. Now all of a sudden, it's okay to get the ball out.
It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch. You hear the doom and the thump into the goal net or the post, and it's actually very satisfying as a football fan to watch. So that was a great goal, great movement by Sesko as well. So we've anything else about the United game? Again, I need to credit Lamins. He's such an upgrade over Onana.
Do you know what the big thing for me with Man United? They weathered the storm. They went one down. Palace were playing really, really well, and they weathered the storm. They got a little bit of luck with the sending off. But they, some teams can't deal with a 10-man defense, you know what I mean, or a 9-man defense. But they did, and they looked threatening going forward all the time. They scored at the right time. That's so important. We talked about Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool scored at the right times. Just when you're thinking, oh shit, we're on our back foot here, we get a goal, and then everyone goes okay, settles down. And Man United did the same, and they were comfortable to the end, weren't they? It wasn't like it was a hair and scare 'em game where they just cruised through to the 3 points, which was good.
Yeah, and it's good to see that Carrick didn't bring on 5 defenders after Crystal Palace went a man down just to pass the ball and keep the ball and not take any chances like we've done under Amorim in the past. Okay, so we spoke about these 2 games, but I'm going to make a reference to what we spoke about last week, where I stand on VAR just leaving the game of football altogether. You last week was still on its side and said, it can still be implemented better. We'll start with this game, the United game. Okay, I think that's a ridiculous decision to send off the Crystal Palace defender, give a penalty and a red card for that. And I'm a United fan. I didn't understand it. And the funny thing was, the VAR recommended it to the referee to go to the screen and check it. The referee saw it on the screen, and I'm looking at the screen, right? And I'm thinking, well, there's one defender on the right, the goalkeeper's there. The ball's the ball's not that close to Cunha. So, I mean, that's not a stonewall red card, at least for me. You may give a penalty saying that the foul is continuing into the box. But
you're too liberal, I've told you. It's by the letter of the law. It says if you're the last man, and he was the last man because the other defender was about a yard ahead of him, which is, it's neither here nor there. But if you look at the letter of the law, he had to send him off because it was he's denying. Who got brought down? Was it Sesko? Cunha. It's denying Cunha a goal scoring opportunity. Now, yes, he was like 3 or 4 yards outside of the near post, but it's a goal scoring opportunity. Nobody likes to see anyone getting sent off, but that's the letter of the. What's the referee supposed to do? He can't be liberal. He can't be,
I've always said this, Mark. A referee should try to keep 11 players on the pitch, and if there is that shadow of a doubt in this, which I feel there was, he should try to keep 11 players on the pitch. Don't kill the game off if there is a shadow of a doubt.
But what you've got to realise is these guys are getting monitored every single game. Now, if he says, I won't send him off, he might miss 2 or 3 games because of, he'll get some sort of sanction against him because he never did the rules or never put the rules in place where. So I feel sorry for the referees. I've told you, they're managing every game 22 cheats, basically. And I'm not saying all players are cheat. I'm saying little cheat, like, the ball goes out, our ball ref, and they go over and they're not injured and all the rest of it. So, and it's come to this now where you've got to put legislation in and rules in where, if he's the last man, which he was, and that's where he went to the VAR to have a look to see where. So whoever was the other defender on the other side, if he'd have been a yard behind Lacroix, it wouldn't have been a sending off. It would have been a penalty, probably a yellow card, and then we move on. But because it's the letter of the law, and again, is it another one that we can change? Of course we can change it. But, as a Man United supporter, they would have been delighted to get him sent off, to get a penalty, and to get back into the game.
Yeah. It's okay, fine. I get it. Debatable, you're saying, by the letter of the law and everything. But let's move on to the game where I feel there's no debate about it. We're going to talk about the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Arsenal started better. Chelsea, looked like they were a little here and there, and then they started coming back into this match. 3 goals scored in this game, all 3 as a result from corners. First, we'll talk about the corners aspect because I know you have a little bit of a say in it. Everyone's trying to, throw shade on Arsenal in terms of being not a great team because they're scoring so many of the goals from corners. I know there's a statistic where they're now tied with Oldham and West Brom from years ago.
Yeah.
And people are saying, well, it's not a great team and they need to put a star next to their name just because they've been scoring so many goals from corners. Your opinion?
Okay, there's 3 things I want to say, or two or 3. Right. A corner is a goal scoring opportunity. Okay, that's fact. So why not use that to score goals? So they have. You're not telling me that Arsenal haven't got other players in their team of talent, of super talent. They've scored more goals than any other team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They've conceded less goals than everyone in it. That's why they're top of the table. Not because they've scored 16 goals from corners. So let's do another scenario. They scored 16 goals from free kicks outside the box.
Yeah.
Will people be moaning? Oh, they're only scoring from outside the box.
Non-Arsenal fans might still moan, but yeah, I get your point. They've done well to score from corners.
It's ludicrous. It's fair play to Arsenal. Fair play to them because they are very, very dangerous from set plays. They employ a set play coach.
Yeah.
So, all fair credit to him. I don't go along, and I've seen all of these stats coming, it's the worst thing since Oldham, and you're doing a disservice to Oldham. I played against them teams, and they were really, really strong. I was at Wigan as a coach. Our prime objective in the game was to run more than the opposition. We weren't better than them, but if we ran more, we may have got a little bit more out the game, and we did. We stayed in the Premier League for 6 and 7 years, which is a major achievement for a team like Wigan. So, you've got to utilise what you're good at. Remember Stoke when they had the long ball thrower?
Yeah. Which teams are doing now? Yes, all the teams, all the good teams, not just teams at the bottom half of the table.
Why not utilise something that you're good at? And do you know, next year, mate, I'll tell you something, and I've called you mate 3 times this time. All the other teams will be concentrating on corners and free kicks and different things, and it's part of the game, and it's a goal scoring opportunity, as I said. So fair play to them.
Absolutely. I mean, and first of all, Liverpool fans this weekend cannot argue against Arsenal. They had 3 corners that resulted in goals for them. So I don't think they'll have the right to complain. If a team is scoring goals, however, there's, because a few years ago, Liverpool employed a throw-in coach and they spoke about how dramatically it changed the attacking options. And, we have Liverpool fans who we worked with, and they explained it to us so well in terms of statistics of throwing the ball in. So fair play to Arteta and Arsenal if they're scoring goals from corners. And the point is, Mark, you only get a corner when you reach the opponent's goal and the ball deflects off a defender or the keeper makes a save and goes back. So,
well, Arpit, if you go through the Arsenal team, they have got quality in every position.
yep.
Saka, Rice, Martinelli on the other side,
Raya,
Trossard,
they have a good
Raya,
keeper as well. Yeah.
Saliba and Gabriel, both the
Yeah.
centre halves, the right back, the left back. They've got
Timber. Yeah.
And they've got a Capier, and then they've got the other guy from Italy there as well. So
Calafiori,
they've got a lot. Yeah, and we're talking about, like as if they're a Sam Allardyce,
they're not a good team.
A Sam Allardyce team that just lump it forward, and the better, the far better.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like, yes, credit to them. They've scored so many goals from corners, and why not? I think what I'm not okay with is the way they set up for their corners, whether they're attacking or defending. We saw it a couple of weeks ago against Manchester United, where they would, and there were jokes made that it looked like a WrestleMania match where everyone was just crowding. So I think fans don't want to see that. You score a goal from a corner, fair play, do that. But, maybe try to keep it, I don't know, a little more clean, I would say. But let's, and I merged that point where I said VAR needs to leave the game. So I spoke about the United decision, and now we're going to speak about what Arsenal do when they're defending and what they did specifically against Chelsea. Now that's Declan Rice. This is still a better angle because this is only showing the handball or the ball coming off the elbow. But before this, he had Hato in an armor, pretty much, not even in a clasp. He had him in an armor. He wasn't looked at. It wasn't given as a foul for either the grabbing or the handball. So then what is VAR doing?
It's not VAR, is it? It's the referee. If the referee...
Yeah, but the referee can't see all of them, right, Mark? VAR can see this. This is a slow replay.
Okay, even if he sees one thing, the referee, right? He should give a penalty and say, as I said, if they go into the changing rooms, which they do, referees, and they'll say to the players this, that, and the other, if he goes in and says, listen, guys, if I see any of this, I'm going to give a straight penalty. No ifs, no buts, no nothing. This will all change within 45 minutes because no one wants to, get a penalty against them. Look at the Chelsea's player with his arm around Timber there. It's all over the place. Now the referee can't see everything. I get it. But he only has to do it once and then they'll all stop it.
Yeah, but
it's having the balls to do it.
Yeah, but even he doesn't. Why can't VAR tell him to look at this specific incident, right? Now, Chelsea scored in the subsequent corner, so it didn't seem like they lost too much. But look at this. This is not the grab and release of the t-shirt. This is not the shove. This is not the block. This is, I'm not going to let you jump, and then I'm going to use my arm to deflect the ball. There's
a thing in England called GBH, and it's grievous bodily harm. And it is. Okay. It's like the wrestling. It's like a WrestleMania, isn't it? That can be stopped if the referee gives a penalty. It will, and whilst they're letting that get away with it, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse.
It got worse in the game. It got worse in that very game. Look at this. What is going on? Now, João Pedro is being held by Saliba, if I'm not mistaken. I can't see his face here. And that gets punched by Raya like that. And nothing's given. Given.
I know, but if you look further back, is that Gabriel? His shirt's getting tugged as well by the Chelsea player.
So it's not worse than this.
I know it's not, but it's the same thing as well. But Raya's obviously Pedro's had a bad day at the office.
Yeah, look at João Pedro. I mean, what is he supposed to do? He's being pulled down at the waist, okay, and he's being punched in the head. And I can only imagine João Pedro, going to the referee and saying, hey, did you see that? And the referee saying, don't worry, if the video assistant has seen it, something will be given. And then João Pedro is waiting because he knows he's been pulled down, he's been punched in the head. And they say, well, yeah, get on with it. No, nothing. Because João Pedro is not doing anything wrong. His hands are down by his side. So you can't even say that they're grappling with each other. He heads the ball.
But forget about the referees and forget about VAR, right? Lots of people are talking about this now. So the Premier League should act, shouldn't they? They should put something in place.
They should. Yeah.
Forget about the referee. They should be looking after the referee and looking after VAR and saying to all of these clubs, this has to stop.
Yeah.
And giving the referees and VAR the bandwidth to be able to send people off or to showcase it, and the referee ultimately sends them off. Then it'll stop. Trust me, it'll stop in a heartbeat.
Yeah, this needs to go. Okay, I want to. We're back. Yeah, it was so bad to watch because the match was not bad. It was two, great rivals trying
Do you know what that picture reminded me of? A night out with Terry Phelan and Ashley Westwood.
Yeah, I can remember. It's been a while, but yeah, I can see. Which one is João Pedro though? Is it one of us or is it Terry Phelan?
No.
Oh man, Terry's gonna want to talk about this. But yeah, we've had some good nights. But yeah, coming back, the Premier League must do something about this because that's just ridiculous. That's just, and any team doing that, it's just ridiculous. Not Arsenal. We are not bitter because they're on the top and they're winning. It's because this should not be in the game.
But it's tainting. It'll taint. Yeah. If Arsenal win the Premier League, it'll be tainted by stuff like this.
Yeah.
Now, I've said to you, Arsenal are the best team in the division right now.
Yeah.
And they are because they're top of the table. There's nothing about that. And hopefully, they can see it through and they get the championship, and let's see what it goes from there. But this has to stop, otherwise it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's easily done. It's easily stopped.
I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And my point being, again, just let go of the VAR. If you're not going to come back and look at this and say, hold on, referee, this is big, then just don't be there. Let the referee make a mistake. I'm okay with the referee making a mistake. I'm okay with debating it. I'm not okay with the video assistant referee looking at that and saying, well, yeah, that's okay. Let's let it go. I'm not okay.
The fact that he said it's okay is the problem. The fact of not, it's not actually looking at it. It's the fact that VAR said it's okay. Now, the VAR are there to help the officials, not to hinder them. So they're the ones that say, like with the penalty against Crystal Palace, they said you better check it. He checked it. Letter of the law, bang. Now, I'm telling you now that there's no rule in football that says you can manhandle and grapple with a player in the box. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a penalty. So I don't know why they allow it to happen in these corners. I think what you'll find is they'll address this at the end of the season because
they'll have to. Yeah.
Arsenal are getting tainted with this now. Oh, they're only scoring from corners and they're this, that, and the. They're a lot more than that. But that's going to be the thing with them. So maybe the Premier League need to get the finger out and make a decision one way or the other with this.
They need to get a very liberal guy to be sitting in the video assistant referee's booth, because he makes the best decisions, completely neutral. Yeah. But yeah, that was the discussion which we had last week regarding VAR as well. So we've spoken about the two matches about our teams and the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Anything else you want to mention before we sign off, Mark?
No, I mean, I'm looking at the fixtures for both Man United because it's an interesting race for the Champions League places, isn't it? And obviously Liverpool are in the Champions League against Galatasaray, which are big games. But other than that, they've got Palace, Everton, Fulham, Brighton and Spurs. So they're very winnable for Liverpool. Yeah. Whereas Man United have got Aston Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea and Liverpool within their next 6 or 7 games. So, it'll be, let's see where the 11th game goes, because as I say, I've seen this stat where all the managers have reached 10 unbeaten as Carrick has, and then they fall down.
And then downhill. Thanks, Mark, for reminding us about it. But yeah, before I sign off, you're just going to give a shout out to Adriano Del Monte because he's such a passionate Serie A fan, and there was a good game in the Serie A on the weekend, Roma versus Juventus. I didn't watch it live, but I did get a few of the highlights.
3-3.
Yeah,
it was 3-3. Yeah. Adriano's a great guy, isn't he? He's a brilliant guy.
He is.
Yeah, and he's good and he's great at what he does. He's very humble, but he's very professional as well. He's very good.
He's great, and he's so passionate, especially about Italian football. And he laments the fact that it's dropped, and we lament the fact that it's dropped from where it was to where it is. But they had a great match, and We should try getting Adriano on the podcast as well. He'll be a little expensive, but I think we'll see if we can afford it. All right, Mark. That's
Thanks,
episode 4
Arpit.
done. I know you have your training to go to, so go ahead, teach those kids to be better footballers and not grab strikers in the box.
I'm gonna have to dodge the holy celebrations as well on the way, no doubt. So
yeah, don't wear white. I think black is a good color to wear. All right.
This is my kit, by the way. I'm ready to go, ready to rock and roll today.
Go for it, Mark, and I'll see you on the next episode soon.
Thanks, pal. See you later. Bye, everyone. Bye.